think one of my last first impressions get ready with me for the year of 2021. I might be doing one more and squeezing in one more on the 31st. But today is the 30th, and we are going to be playing with probably the last new palette to me from Colourpop. But again, I might be trying another Colourpop palette tomorrow. And this is the Colourpop Orchid You Not Pressed Powder palette. Now, initially, I convinced myself to not get this palette, but then I blame Angelica Nyquist and Makeup Just for Fun for convincing me to get this palette, because Angelica Nyquist said basically if you liked the Melt She's in Parties palette but didn't want to spend the money, this is probably the best alternative to that. And I did really want the Melt She's in Parties palette, so I think that this is a great alternative. So for the first shade that we're going to jump into is this color right here called Rebloom. And that's a really pigmented pinky mauve. And I'm going to apply that in my crease area. So I really have been liking the formula of the 9 pans that I've tried from Colourpop this year. The one that impressed me the most was the Wine and Only. Actually, I think I've only tried one from this year, actually. This one is from this year as well, but the Wine and Only palette, I believe, is from late last year, or is it early this year? I can't remember. I'll obviously say in my Colourpop ranking video, but I wanted to squeeze this in to try it before my ranking video. I'm not sure if the palette that I might try tomorrow will make it into that video, but we'll see. I can pretty much tell if I like a Colourpop palette after like the first time I use it. I mean, I will be using these palettes until I post my or do my countdown, but like I'm only going to be using them in these first impressions videos in 2021, but I still tried them in 2021, so I can still include them. That's what I'm doing. So okay, so I'm just gonna blend that a bit more. So far that's blending pretty nicely. You just have to build it up. But I kind of wanted this palette as well because I really don't have too many tones like this in my collection, because I thought that the Natasha Denona Retro palette was going to be a heavily berry tone palette, but honestly, it's really not. I'm going to go into more detail when I rank the palettes, but it's really not as berry toned as you would think. There's a lot more berry mattes in this palette. So for the next shade I'm going to go into is the shade Moth. Yeah, I'm going to use that one. And I'm going to put that in my defining area. I think I'm going to take the middle shade on my lid. I'm going to take that here. These I find to be a little bit stiffer mattes than I'm usually used to from Colourpop. I mean, again, so many people raved about this one. This one ranked pretty decently high on most of my favorite YouTubers' lists. I think it ranked number 6 for Angelica Nyquist. It ranked like number 3 for Makeup Just for Fun. And Andrea Mattiliano ranked it around like her top 15. So they all liked it a lot, but I do find that this formula is a bit drier than the Wine and Only palette. I love the Wine and Only palette. That's one of my favorites I've tried from them this year. I think that the pigment is so rich in that palette, so. And people were complaining that they were expecting this to be the Wine and Only palette, like this color story, and I'm like, no, I like the deep, rich reds in the Wine and Only. I like that there's reds in there. Okay, so apparently I'm already dipping into the next shade, but the next shade I'm going to go into is called Buddies, and I'm going to put that on my outer corners, and that's a really rich purple shade. Yeah, that's pretty. I was torn as to whether or not I wanted to use Nuh-Uh or Buddies, But I really like this color story because at first I thought that these shades were like more brownie purpley shades, but they're actually true rich berry tones. And I don't like when even Colourpop like kind of fools you with the packaging and makes it a purple packaging, but the shades don't really match like the exterior. Like, I don't like that. That's why I'm a bit annoyed about the Natasha Denona Retro palette. I mean, yes, the formula is great, but it's a bit deceiving because there's really no berry tones in that palette. It's like a warm neutral palette with some pops of cool tone shades, but there's barely any berries in there. And I really thought that was going to be a berry palette, so. Okay, let me just put on my glitter glue. There's some really pretty lid shades in here, but I think I am going to go in with OMG. And it's a really pretty, like, rosy purpley color, and I'm going to put that on my lid. My glitter glue is already transferring. Dang it. Dang it. These are a bit flaky. I was about to say flanky. Flaky. Oh my god. OMG. But that's what the shade name is called. It's really pretty. It is flaking off the pan a bit though, so just keep that in mind. And do the same on the other eye. It's pretty. I do like this palette. I just thought the tones were going to be a bit richer than what they are, but they're still pretty. I was kind of expecting that same richness that I got from the Wine and Only palette, but it's still really pretty. I already knew where this palette was going to fall before I even bought it. I'm like, because it's easy for me to rank Colourpop palettes because, but I'm glad I got this one. This one definitely adds quite a bit to my collection because, again, I don't really have tones like this, to be honest. All right, I'm just going to clean up the crease and then we'll do the rest of the makeup. Okay, so I went ahead and did my base off camera. I just used the MAC Fix Plus spray and then the Fenty Beauty primer again, and then the YSL All Hours foundation. Again, I've been obsessed with this foundation since I got it. And then the MAC Pro Longwear concealer I used to conceal, and then I used the Pat McGrath powder to set my under eyes and my T-zone, and then I used my Dior powder as usual to set my face. And now we're going to go back into the palette, and for the shade I'm going to use on the lower lash line, I'm going to take the shade Ada. I didn't use that in my crease, so I'm going to take it on the lower lash line. Ooh, is she pigmented? Wow, that's actually pretty rich, that one. Wow, that's nice. I like that. Do the same over here. Obviously. It's really pretty. It's a really pretty palette. I like it. Why I was thinking about not getting it, I don't really understand. I'm actually really happy that I got this one. It's always the ones that I'm going to skip over from Colourpop I end up loving the most. Okay, and then for the inner corners, I'm going to take this really light shade right here, which is called Pretty One. Oh, looks like such a gorgeous color. It looks like a silvery purple shade. Let me not like... There's like eyeshadow still there. Oh, that's so pretty. You guys know how much I love like these light metallic shades from Colourpop. They're always like so bright on the inner corners. This one's super pretty. I like that this is actually a purple palette, you guys. Like, sometimes when brands market something as a purple palette, there's really not too many purples and berries in it. And this one actually has it. This actually fulfilled, like, I actually did not have a legit berry tone palette in my collection. And I actually think this is stunning. So, yeah, I really like this one a lot. Okay, and then for my waterline, I'm going to take like this berry toned Colourpop liner called Charmer. And this is part of the holiday set that I bought. And I'm going to take that shade and put it on my waterline. God, that is pokey. Some of them are just hecka sharp. I don't know, some of them are really bothering my waterline lately. And then I'm just gonna do my mascara off camera if I could speak. Okay, and Dan, for the blush, gotta hurry up because I gotta get to work soon, is the Flower Beauty blush in the shade Sweet Pea. Just gonna take that. This is a new sweater from Lucky. I've been kind of going crazy with the sweaters there again, but I thought it was such a pretty sweater. And I've been saving it to wear with this palette. But the palette didn't come until yesterday, so... And I was already at work at the time. I would have been able to try the palette yesterday, but... Because it came at like 2:30 yesterday, and I originally had work at 4, but then they switched me to 2 o'clock yesterday. Even though someone else ended up calling out anyway, so they kind of needed me earlier, but it's just been like kind of a mess with coverage at work lately, and one of our other coworkers is out sick, so I've been working a bit more. I was like, I thought I was going to be able to chill a little bit more after Christmas. It's like, nope. I was like, why would that happen, Caitlin? Okay, and then for my highlighter, I did pick up the Soul Body. This is so humongous. Shimmering body powder from the Orchid You Not collection, and this is called Wild Orchid, even though I just looked at what it was. I forgot what it was called already. And the thing about the big ones is that they're so annoying to open, but it's a really pretty, like, lavender color. And this one does have a scent to it, and usually they don't scent their, like, highlighting products, but it's a very strong scent. It smells good, but it's like, dang, it's like a lot. And I don't know how this is gonna be on my skin tone, because when I swatched it last night, it was pretty dark, but I was also swatching it in like the dark because it was nighttime, so it does look lighter on my skin when I actually apply it. It's pretty. I just can't see anything as usual. Oh yeah, it's like a light purpley color. It's so pretty. Ooh. I like that. But these just, I don't know why they make these so humongous. Like, and I don't know why with every collection they have to release a Soul Body highlighter. I miss their just regular highlighters because they're so good. I don't know why it always has to be a massive Soul Body one. I mean, it's good, but a lot of people complain that this packaging is just obnoxiously big, and it really is. Like, no one in their lifetime is going to go through a highlighter this big, but at least you get your money's worth. Oh, that is so pretty. I really like that. Y'all, gorgeous. Okay, and then we're just going to do the lips. Okay, and then for the lips, I want to try out this new Ultra Blotted lip that I got with the order, which is called Super Mellow. This is their brand new lip formula, and I'm gonna, I don't know if it's pigmented enough, but it is really pretty with this purple look. It's kind of more of like a cool tone color. Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, I like that color with this. Yeah, I like it. It's very smooth. It is scented, and I like it. I definitely like this more than their blotted lips that they came out with like almost 2 years ago. This is definitely better. This is more of a drier formula though, and I feel like it takes way more building. But again, it is a blotted lip, so it's not supposed to be like full-on pigment. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Okay, you guys, so this is the finished look. Here are the eyes. Really love how they turned out. The cheeks and the lips. I actually really love this palette. Like, I know that I was gonna like it because I really love their formula, but this is actually a really good berry tone palette, you guys. Like, if you've been looking for these actual tones, like, I don't know why, like, so many brands, like, mismarket what colors are in there. And Colourpop does it too, believe me. They do it a lot. But this is actually, like, one of the only times, besides the Wine and Only palette, that they make a monochromatic palette that actually has those colors in there. I can't remember the last time they did that besides with, like, a peach palette. But, like, this actually has the colors in here that I've been looking for. And the look turned out so pretty. So, again, I don't know why I was so doubtful about skipping this over. When I was actually looking at this last night, again, I guess my eyes were deceiving me because I'm like, oh, it only has 2 pink shades in here and then the rest of these are brown. But actually looking at it in the light, this is like a deep purple and this is an even deeper purple, and then this is like a purpley brown. So there's some really good rich purpley tones in here, and I love how the look turned out, and the shimmers are very complimentary. I love how there's more mattes than shimmers. I think that there's the same amount of mattes and shimmers in this as the Wine and Only palette, and that's why these palettes work, because they have more mattes than shimmers, and they actually have the tones that you want in the palette. And the highlighter is also beautiful. I was actually really impressed with it, and the lipstick is gorgeous too. I really like how it looks with this. So yeah, I love you guys. I have to go to work, so please like and subscribe. Follow me on my Instagram at CBW819 and check out my Poshmark at the same handle. Bye! I might do a giveaway when I get home. I'm not sure yet, or I might just include that in another video. So yeah, bye.